This summary is a continuation of a great story. If you're not yet familiar with the first part of Foundation, I highly recommend starting with it. It will help you see the full depth and logic of the plot. The link is in the description. Enjoy watching. After decades of victories, the Foundation began to feel confident. Everything was going according to Selden's plan. But that was when he appeared, the Mule. He wasn't mentioned in any prophecy. His name was spoken like a whisper. People talked about him with anxiety. No one knew who he was, but his armies were conquering planet after planet. He never appeared in public. He had no flag. But everywhere he went, obedience was left behind. His enemies disappeared without a fight. The Foundation started investigating, but couldn't keep up. Something was breaking resistance even without battles. Someone was breaking people's will. Rumors began to spread. The Mule had the ability to change emotions. Fear, love, loyalty, all under his control. This wasn't a war, it was a restructuring of consciousness. The Foundation had no weapon against that. Psychohistory hadn't predicted this. On Calgon, a neutral planet, lived Torin and Beta Daryl, young, in love, and far removed from high politics. But their lives were about to change. One day, he entered their home. A clown. Thin, hunched, with huge fingers and eyes full of fear. He called himself Magnifico. Magnifico said he had escaped from the Mule, that he couldn't bear his rule, and that he was seeking refuge. Beta felt sorry for him. Torin had his doubts, but with each passing day, something seemed off. His words were contradictory, and his eyes were far too deep for a clown. Calgon began to change. The radio was playing songs that no one recognized. People were talking about the Mule as if he were the Messiah. Something was wrong. Torin was gathering friends. They understood. Calgon was under control, and next was the Foundation. But is there still a chance to stop the Mule? The plan was simple: escape from Calgon and reach a place that had long since become a legend. Where else could there be hope, if not the Second Foundation? They are joined by Captain Pelé, a longtime friend, a pilot who hasn't given in yet, and Magnifico, who has no right to stay. The ship takes off, leaving Calgon behind. But inside, there's tension, because the unknown ahead is even more frightening. The first planets they pass by are silent. No one responds. Trade has stopped, and it's as if people have disappeared. Those who do answer say only one thing: the Mule is salvation. Their voices are warm, but their eyes are empty. These aren't people, they're puppets. At one station, the heroes meet the governor. Once harsh and stubborn, now he's gentle and grateful to the Mule. Beta can't take it anymore. You are not alone. He changed you. But the governor replies, "No, I just realized the truth." Torin realizes, this isn't power, it's a virus of consciousness. The Mule doesn't conquer. He rewrites everyone he touches. The heroes keep running. The planets are silent. Their only hope is to find a trace of the Second Foundation. But what if it's just a myth? Magnific starts acting strange again. At night, he talks to himself. His eyes are sometimes childlike, sometimes far too adult. Torin asks Beta to keep her distance, but she believes in Magnific. She doesn't see a monster in him, but a broken person. Meanwhile, another planet falls in the galaxy, and hundreds more worlds silently join the Mule. Without a war, not a single fleet has been able to stop the Mule. No defense has worked. His army consists of perfect soldiers with rewritten minds. Pelé says, "We're too late. The Foundation has fallen." There is silence on the ship, only space and hearts beating in fear. At an abandoned station, the heroes try once again to gather information, but the signals are only music, hymns in honor of the Mule. Beta is starting to believe. The Mule isn't just a threat, he's a catastrophe on the scale of the Empire itself. But she's not giving up yet. Torin and Magnific have a conversation. Torin asks. Are you hiding something? Magnific laughs, but the laughter is too tense. Pele can't take it anymore. What if he is the mule? The ship falls silent. Beta says nothing. Torin is deep in thought. Magnific is trembling. The ship is heading toward an uninhabited system. According to old rumors, the second foundation could be there. They are flying blindly into the darkness. Beta wakes up at night. Magnific is gone. She finds him in the hangar. He's playing a small instrument and crying. Beta can't take it anymore. She sits down next to him. Who are you really? She asks. He just grips the strings and stays silent. Pele enters the coordinates. A planet with no markings. Nothing around is giving off any signals, but something there is calling out. They land on the dead planet. The atmosphere is clear, the surface is empty, no cities, no stations, but Magnific is nervous. Suddenly, Magnific stops, his body trembling. He turns around and says, "Don't go any further." "I am the Mule," he says, taking off his mask. Beta is stunned. Torin is shocked. Pele grabs for his weapon, but his hands are shaking. The Mule pulls back his hood. His face looks exhausted, but not evil. He is not a monster. He is lonely, tired, and incredibly powerful. "I don't want power," he says. "I want peace, but no one listened to me, so I took the galaxy." Beta asks, "And the Foundation? They truly love me." "I didn't force them. I helped them believe." Mule replies. "They were afraid of me," Mule says. "I was different. Born with abilities no one could understand. That's why they despised me. I got tired of being a monster in their eyes." He continues, "I'm not evil. I'm just lonely." And there's pain in his words. Torin stays silent. Pele lowers her weapon. Beta steps forward. Her voice trembles. "Then why do all this?" "Because otherwise they would have destroyed me," Mule says quietly. "I was only defending myself and looking for someone who isn't afraid of me." He's not asking for forgiveness, but he's not threatening anyone either. He just wants to be a person, not a puppeteer. That changes everything. Beta starts to cry. She sees not a conqueror in him, but someone who's wounded. And for the first time, the Mule isn't alone, even if just for a moment. "Are you still looking for the second foundation?" Torin asks. The Mule nods. "They're the only ones I can sense. They're the last force that could break me." And even though the Mule has conquered everything, he is uneasy. He has conquered the galaxy, but not himself, nor the force that lurks somewhere in the shadows, somewhere in the galaxy. The second foundation is waiting. It remains silent, but the Mule knows. She has not forgotten and will not forgive. Beta, Torin, and Beta return to the ship. The Mule doesn't interfere. He remains silent. He no longer needs to speak. Beta says, "We sat next to him, the Mule himself. And no one knows if that's fear or amazement." "He didn't kill us," says Beta. "Because maybe we're the only ones who never betrayed him. And that's the greatest victory." The ship takes off. The Mule doesn't move. He remains on the empty planet, alone with his galaxy and his loneliness. The heroes don't know what will happen next, but they have seen the face of the one the galaxy feared. And in it there is not evil, but pain. The foundation has fallen, but it is not destroyed. It is different now, rewritten. Now it serves, it doesn't think, it only believes. Hari Seldon didn't foresee the Mule, because psychohistory is about the equations of masses, and the Mule is an exception from a different kind of mathematics. The second foundation is silent, but it is alive, and it is watching. It is the galaxy's last chance to regain its freedom. Because even the one who breaks the will of millions is afraid of just one, the one he cannot change. The one who sees deeper. Thank you for watching until the end. If you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to write in the comments which book you'd like to see next time. Your ideas are very important. See you in the next videos.